Hello, hello, hello. Well, we are live and we are on the team page, and we're excited tonight. I'm excited tonight. I hope that everybody else is too. We've got some people that are tuning in, um, and we're going to have a very special guest with us joining tonight, and excited to be introducing her. And there she is, clicking in right there. Hey, girl.
Hi, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I am fantastic, and I got some blood work done today. My kid headbutted me in the face. It's been a special day, but aside from my lip being swollen, I'm doing pretty good.
Uh-huh. Yeah, your kid did what to your face today?
Headbutted me.
Head butted you in the. And how old is he?
It was my girl. She's 4. I'm like, well, at least you should have done the other side, so it looked like I got something cool done to my face. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, those people that do the Botox to the lips and everything.
Yeah, that's what she should have done. It should match over here. I'm just
That's
like, well, it's
right.
okay. At least I know what one side would look like.
Yeah. There you go. So you can go to those Botox. I want this side look like this side.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'll keep the original. It's cool.
There you go. There you go. Well, hey, listen. I was just telling everybody, welcome. It's our traditional. We do a weekly Wednesday night training call, and we have some guests on occasionally, and as regular as we can get people on. And for those of you who are tuning in, we've got quite a few people. I think we're 22, 23, 24 right now, and they'll be coming on from all over. I tell you, I heard Michelle speak several times. And then I heard her speak again this past week, and so we were messaging back and forth about business, and she asked me to do her a favor, and I said only if you'll do me a favor. And she said what? And I said I want you to come on my team training, and I want you to tell your story, because listen, let me tell y'all something. I don't want to ruin it. I really don't. But just let me tell a little bit about Michelle's story, and then I'm going to let her fill in the gaps. Okay, because this is why we do what we do. Isn't that right, Michelle? For the stories, for the people.
Yeah, and when you're equipped with those stories, it's really hard to hear either, like, especially mine.
Yeah.
There's not one person that can come to me with a money objection. You know what I mean? Or any objection, really. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's what we do it for.
I said today on Alive at 11, I said, I watched Michelle's story, and I'm like, okay, what's your excuse? You got nothing. You got nothing. So, welcome everybody. Let me tell you a little bit about Michelle Eldridge. Michelle is a mother of 2. She's from the great state of Tennessee. I love Tennessee. I actually lived up there in Morristown many years ago.
That's 45 minutes for me or less.
This was before you were a glimmer in your mother's eye. Just let you know. So, 3 years ago, when Michelle found the direct sales industry, Michelle was living on her own. She's gone from in just 8 years, struggling, homeless, addicted to drugs, felony charges against her. She said that when I heard her the other day, she goes, "I'm unemployable." And I was like, yeah, I mean, you're a rock star. I can see that. And, you're not going to take any, piddly job. Why would you do that? And then she says, because I've got charges against me and nobody will hire me.
Exactly.
And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And so just 8 years ago, she was homeless, addicted to drugs. Were you in Tennessee then?
Yeah.
In Tennessee. And then 3 years ago, she had a situation occur, and I'm going to let her kind of fill it in. But here she was. She found the direct sales industry. She was broke. She had no savings. She had no car. She had no money. Not a little bit. No money at all. And fast forward today, and she is in the top 1% of her company. She's gone from flat broke to being a 6-figure income earner. And, she says your biggest gift is there is no one else like you, no one that has your vibe, that has your energy, and the world needs you. And when you said that the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so spot on. It's so true. And so, and not only is she rocking the direct sales industry in 3 years, earning 6 figures. The Higdon Group, which a lot of y'all are familiar with Ray Higdon and his group, they've said, hey, Michelle, we want you working with us. We want you as a speaker. We want you as a trainer. And so she's doing that on the side, along with being the mother of 2, working her full-time gig, earning 6 figures, and managing a big team. With that being said, welcome to our group, Miss Michelle Eldridge.
Oh my gosh. Every time I hear somebody introduce me, it's almost like I'm cheering for that person. So the shock still hits me that it's me, it's my life. And I'm just grateful to be here. I've heard, nothing but great things, and I've talked with Alan a lot lately, especially in the last, few months. And y'all are in great hands. I hope that you realize that you have something that a lot of teams don't have. In fact, I didn't have it. I didn't have a great leader or somebody who helped me. So you're definitely in the right place, and I'm just happy to be here.
So, well, thank you for that compliment, Michelle, and I think the world of you as well, as I've told you. And so, the biggest hurdle we were talking last week, and we do a live at 11 each day, and we do trainings each week, and we were talking about. We said, what if we were playing the what if game? What if you could have anything you want in life? What if you could visualize anyone you wanted to become? And the biggest hurdle that most people have to overcome, Michelle, is how do you go from being homeless, addicted to drugs, flat broke, no money, to where you are today? How do you, because that's more than just desire. That's more than just work. That's belief.
Yeah. And that belief wasn't necessarily in me. I know that you hear most everybody, they'll say, you got to believe in yourself first. And for a long time at first, when I first started, I felt that was true, and I was really trying to get that, but it just wasn't coming because it wasn't something instilled in me in my life. So instead, I think it was the belief in, I've seen everybody in other industries, other companies, and, this or that. It boiled down to, I believe in the industry. I believe in the process. If it's happened for them, if that dude who drives a truck, he's the average person, if he can do it, if that teacher or that stay-at-home mom can do it, then why can't I learn? Why can't I do the same thing?
Yeah.
And it was a matter of, they say, this is what made sense to me. I couldn't get belief in myself because I didn't have results, right? Like I could get all fired up with affirmations and stuff, but then it was, reality set in, and here's the facts. You look at my results, and I didn't have any at the time.
Right.
And so then I was back to no belief. But what got me was, the belief in the process. So I'm believing the process. So I'm doing the things, and then the results started to come. And that's what grew that belief in, I can't, me too, right? Like I do believe in me. And the more I believed in the process, the more that my results grew, and the more the belief in me grew. And it only snowballed from there. But I think people are looking for, the next strategy. And totally, there's some good ones. But what happens is they, in my opinion, they jump too soon from one boat to the next.
Yeah.
Versus trying out something. When I first found Ray Jessica Higgin, you mentioned that, like, I'm a product of the product for them. And Jessica said anytime she done something, she did it for 6 months before she changed anything. Otherwise, she didn't know if it actually worked or not, because that's what it takes. What we're working for right now is the beginning of 2021.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
So that's what it had to be. That first month was month 3. What I'm doing right now is that month 3 and so forth. So 6 months. And that's how I would track and change and tweak. Did I do I think that it would have been a lot slower without help, without, because I didn't have the upline. So I had to find somebody that I felt was not giving me the BS and not trying to make things complicated just to get more money for me, because I didn't have it to give. And that's why they resonated with me. But it was, okay, I'm going to do this every day, no matter what. Yeah. And I'm going to at least do it for 6 months, because I want to know if it works or not. She's smarter than me. He's smarter than me. If they did it, I'm going to try. And it was almost to prove them wrong, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I get it.
I started on a Wells Wednesday in their group or whatever. And I'm like, I don't have 2 pennies to give away. I thought I don't have anything to give away, but I ended up giving away 50 cents in a thing. And I'm like, wow, what does this help me grow my business? Like, tell me how this helps me. Yeah. And now, like last month alone, I gave away like $7,000. Yeah. Actually, that was this month. That was the beginning of this month. In just tickets for their event. Right. I did that. But starting out, if I thought, well, I'm not giving that away, it doesn't make sense, right? Doesn't make sense. It's not going to build my business, because I thought my way was, my brain was the only one that's right. Sure. They're smarter than me. They know more than me. They've done this already. So I'm going to listen. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's 50 cents in a tray at the cashier lot, just dropping it in. Yeah. But that's what it boils down to is truly that belief in the process and having that I'm going to do it until it happens. And you're referring to Rank Makers, okay? Rank Makers, and Rank Makers is $19.95 a month. Is that what it is? Yep, $19.99, and it's $19.99 to $20 a month, and you said you gave away $7,000 in tickets and stuff, and 3 years ago, what would you have done for $7,000? Number one, but the money thing I want to talk about for a second, because a lot of people, when they start a business, when they're new, when they're enrolling somebody, when they're talking to a Michelle Eldridge, where Michelle was 3 years ago, and they're saying, hey, we want you to sign up, and I think it was it $275 what it cost you to join? It was $199, but it ended up being $231 because Tennessee's taxes are really high. So $231 is what they said. Hey, Michelle, you're broke, you got no money, you got no car, you got no savings, you got no job because you're unemployable, and we need $237. And so I want you to tell people what you did to get the money to join. Yeah. So I want to put you in that place, because if you've never been, and some of you, I'm sure you have, but if you've never really truly been in that place where you budget out $5 to feed your kids for a week, you really just have no true way to see what it's like. So when you're talking to this person, it's not as simple. Like for me, I didn't have an aunt or an uncle I could call up and say, can I borrow that? I didn't have anybody that I could ask for anything. You can't get a credit card when you're in that shape. But these people need you to serve them. they do need you.
Yeah.
Without you, like without this industry, my kids wouldn't have the lives that they have. They like that was a complete fairy tale to me, not real. When I was
Right.
growing up, it just wasn't real. So just don't count those people out so soon, because what I did was I didn't have a lot of clothes, but the ones that were too big for me from when I was pregnant, I sold them. I took a couple pictures off my wall, but the hardest thing that I did, but because I wanted it so bad, I would go back and do it again 10 times, because now my kids, have whatever they want, is, I went through their toys and I picked out, because that was the only thing I really had a surplus of, and not because I bought it, but because somebody bought it for them, the health department or something, for Christmas or whatever. And I went through all of them and I sold them until I got $231. I was picking the best ones, and that was hurting me more than them, because they don't notice what they have. They don't really care. Like, it's
Right.
just, they're everywhere. But it was killing me that I knew that I was taking the best things and I was putting it on Facebook in yard sale groups, and I was selling it until I got the money. But I just had, like, it was like the gift of desperation. I say that all the time, but at the time it didn't feel like a gift. But I knew that I had to do something. What else was I going to do? Live off the government forever? That's an option. Sure.
Yeah.
Totally an option. I could have did that, but to me and to people like me, all they got to do is see the possibility. If they see that possibility, and that's where stories come in, exactly where they come in, that's when they'll do whatever it takes. Everybody's looking, and Ray says this a lot, everybody's looking for that influencer and this or that. And that is, everybody wants them, but the people that are already influencers and already doing great, they're not going to hustle like somebody like me.
Right.
They're not going to do it. And you get somebody like me, and they're going to do whatever it takes. Like, they will do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's just the true, people always, you hear people with these, I call them bumper sticker sayings,
Hell yeah.
You got to have a why that'll make you cry.
Oh,
and so a lot of people think, oh, my kid's going to private school. That's a why that'll make me cry. Or buying my 16-year-old a new car. That's a why that'll make me cry. And you're like, if I can put food on the table next week, that's a why that'll make me cry.
Exactly. And it was if I don't, my electric was fixing to get cut off at the time, and that money could have paid that bill. So as soon as I paid for that kid, I was regretting it. I'm like, why didn't I just do this? Because DCS, if my lights get cut off, they would use that as an excuse after I've been sober all this time to come take my kids.
Right.
Because I got sober before I ever had, any kids. But that's not how those people looked at me. I lived in a tiny town, and everybody hated me. It's just, let's just call it what it is. When you're in a small town, that's how it works. And it's a bigger force, but it's also easy. Like, it would have been easy to stay on food stamps, get WIC, or, whatever else.
Have a pity party.
Yeah, it would have been so easy to do that. But that's the party I grew up in.
Right.
And so when I walked in school and my shoestrings were, you could see the middle where they were falling off, or I was wearing some huge man shirt, just a flannel button up just to be warm, and kids would make fun of me. That in my head, that was something that was in my head all the time. I do not want my kids to go through that, because kids don't understand.
Right.
So they don't realize that when they're picking, it's actually a bigger deal in the long run for somebody. But for me, that stuck with me, and I was never, ever, I just was like, my son hadn't started school at the time yet. Yeah. And it was just so hard for me to see him go through that. Not to say kids aren't mean any other way, But, and even if it's unintentional, I didn't want to give them any more reason, you know?
Right. That's right.
And I don't know. This made it possible. This makes it possible for anybody. The person with everything or nothing or in between. Because people, I think they have story envy sometimes when they hear me. Like, oh, well, I don't have that. I don't have that kind of thing, or from that to that. I would tell you, if you're middle class, nothing was ever gave to you.
That's right.
You saw your parents work their faces off and barely make it because nothing was ever free. Okay. Right. You have a whole audience that's not being served because middle class feel like because they're middle class, they're not allowed to say anything.
Right.
You're allowed to talk about that. You're allowed to call it what it is. It's hard.
Yes.
Right. And those are also people you need to be reaching out to. The people that are born with money, they have a whole other world. They're worried about people judging them for having money. They've got to learn finances and a lot of things at a really young age. They've got to go through a different process. But everybody, no matter where on the spectrum you fall, you have people to serve. You have that story that will matter to them because your niche.
Yeah.
You don't need to go take $1 million course to know this. Your niche is you. Okay. So when you're talking on your Facebook, on your Instagram, wherever you're talking, you're typing posts, talk to you. Talk to the person that you were before your problem got solved, or before, even if you've not made a lot of money yet, maybe you've not made a penny, right? Maybe you don't even plan on making a penny, but you get supported, you get the community here. I didn't have a friend not one friend.
Yeah, I think you said you had 125 friends on Facebook and they all hated your guts.
Yeah, and I didn't have Instagram or anything. Like it was, and I thought, oh, I don't need friends. And there's so many people out there who think the same way. So I serve up those people. Yeah. That's what we have to remember is.
Well, I want to piggyback on what you said just a minute ago because it's so powerful. It's such a great message that I don't want it to go unnoticed. Okay.
For sure.
You said the product is yourself. You're selling an opportunity, but you're selling yourself. And so when we look at you today and we see the enthusiasm and the love in your eyes and just the glow on your face and how excited you are. And so the product is yourself. And so I love what you said about, you're in, and we're all family here. We love each other and we speak freely. And Michelle's in the makeup business, right?
Yep.
Okay, so
and I'm not wearing any makeup, but I didn't wear it either before I started. Just FYI.
Well, that's what I love. That's what I love about it because so many times people say, "Well, I don't think they'd be interested in blah blah blah. I don't think they'd be interested in juicy juice. They probably don't like juicy juice." Or she doesn't wear makeup. So I'm not going to talk to her about our makeup business, or they don't, that person's overweight. So they're eating McDonald's. So I doubt they want to talk about losing weight and we prejudge, but
or that person looks healthy. Yeah. They don't want to talk about, things that may help them get healthier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so somebody came to you, a single mom struggling, no money, who did not wear makeup, and said, "Hey," and so what attracted you to where you are today? And just Michelle's been with the same company for 3 years. She hasn't wavered. She got in. She put her head down. She focused. She stayed focused. She put her blinders on. And I'm sure you get offered opportunities like the rest of us do all the time now. It's like, nope, this is me. Nope. And so. It had nothing to do with makeup, did it?
No, wasn't nothing to do with makeup. It was I saw what that girl was doing and the way she was talking, the way she was feeling, the way, when she was pregnant. But when I was pregnant, I don't know about anybody else, but when I was pregnant, I was not like that. And I'm just like, what? What even? Because I was looking for something. Full disclosure, I was looking everywhere, which is why, I'm like, okay, so I'm looking, and it's just how she was. It was, how she showed up, how happy she was, just like you just said about me, that enthusiasm, those things. That's what it was. I didn't care really what she was selling. It wasn't so much what she had, it was who she was, what she was showing me of her. Granted, she had the baby, she suffered from postpartum depression, and she ditched. I'm still so grateful. Like, there will never come a time that I will not be grateful for her.
Yeah.
Just for showing up, because she could have quit a long time ago and I would have never saw her, and she didn't have to invite me, so many things. And that's the person you're missing.
Yeah.
It's the person you're prejudging,
Is she still in the business? Is the girl who enrolled you still in?
She's got an account, but she's not been in this whole time. As far as like doing anything, literally not 2 weeks after I started, I was solo dolo trying to figure it out, clueless. So
the person that brought me into Touchstone, where we are right now, 2.5 months later, quit. I'm out. See ya. And he was like, "Hey, come with me. I'm going to a new company." I'm like, "Wait a minute. You just brought me here,
Oh, that drives me insane. Do you know? I know this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but look. So you said I stayed focused, and I've been in the same company. I'm telling you right now. I mean, yes, when you are on stages and people see that you got a big team, they are going to offer you crazy things to try to get you to move. But even before that, I had this shiny ball syndrome. I would look because it was hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. It's easy to say 3 years from here to here was this, but understand that it was still hard. It was still hard. I still had to do the things. Was it worth it? Is it worth it? You better believe it. But I saw all these other people, especially the ones who are taught to market to struggling network marketers, right? And I just want to say to you that if you mow your grass, you water your grass, it's going to be as green as the grass that they're trying to show you is over there. Because the only difference is the company. The common denominator will be you. The work's the same.
That's it.
The work's the same. So I just want to say that, because these leaders, just like you, I've heard so many times, because of rank makers and the work I've done with Ray, I've had people tell me, my leader left, should I go with them? It just makes me feel like, well, maybe this wasn't such a good idea, but it's like, should I believe them now or not?
Right.
Like, you make people look at you like you're a liar if you do something like that, and then they're confused. It just messes them up. And I just wish that didn't happen, honestly.
I do too. As Ray always says, don't be trying to break up a family. There's a couple of comments on here that I want you to see, and one of them is Rachel Beecher. I spoke with Rachel earlier, and Rachel's like, "Alan, I mean, this is a girl who's like, she goes, I want to hear Michelle. I'm out driving with DoorDash, making money. She's on the phone watching. Look at her. There she is. Way to plug in. Way to go for it there, Rachel." And then here is if you were able to speak to Rebecca. Rebecca said, "If you only knew where I am at in my life right now, what would you say to Rebecca?"
I don't know your exact situation, but I can feel it.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I know that heaviness, and I'm gonna try not to cry because I can feel it. If you look around and the only thing that you feel is heavy, understand that the gift of desperation, that's what I called it, it didn't feel like a gift always. It didn't.
Right.
So the time that you're going through right now, usually the worst things ever, it's like a test. That's how I look at it. It's how bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to fight through this? Do you want it bad enough to get rejected, for this amount of time? How bad do you want it? And a lot of people, they don't want it bad enough, and so they'll quit. Quit doesn't speeding it up, right? Whatever. But they'll quit instead of fight through it. But I can tell you 99% of the time that just on the other side of that you can't see the other side. Maybe it's almost like there is no such thing as the other side.
Yeah.
There is. And it is something that you can't even dream up in your head right now. Like my first vision board had a cell phone on it. Like, it's so insane. Like $1,000 was like $1 million to me. Yeah. But as you go through that hard thing, your vision begins to expand. As long as you're committed to, no matter what, every day I'm going to do at least this. Whatever that is for you. I'm going to do this no matter what every day. No matter what every day. And if you do it, you'll get to that other side. And it'll only continue to get better and better. And soon you'll be able to talk on a video like this, talk to your audience, whatever, and inspire them to get through that hard thing that they're going through. And that's what matters. That's what will change people's lives. Because I know what you guys sell. You know what I mean? I know what you sell. I see everybody. You have something different than me, which is you have something that people, they need, like truly need, and it's consumable, and it's a keep going kind of thing, right? Ours is too, but ours lasts so long that they don't have to, reorder, and that hurts. Yeah. Whereas you have something that's truly life-changing that they need. They need. Not only does it make their families happier because they're happier, not only do they get healthier and feel better themselves, they get, like, say they join and they're in here, they get to be around people like you. And just like you right now, going through the hard thing, this will be something that you can tell that new person later on, that person that's in your audience thinking that there's no way that they're going to get through what they're going through, or that there's no possibility for them to be even normal. Because I put my son in Boy Scouts for $40, like 3 months in, and I was so blown away. Like, I was so happy because that was unrealistic for me prior to that.
Right.
See what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be these big things. That's what it takes, is those small little steps.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it's 3 years later and you're looking back like, what? How is this my life? And that can happen for anybody. I'm not special. My story isn't unique. It is legit just me. Anybody who's willing to be coachable, learn from the people that's already did it, do what they suggest, and stick it out.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's been many times along this path that you've wanted to quit.
Oh man, there's one time. So I took a lot of training, and there's one time, it's actually my signature talk. So I know this moment very well because you have to get clear in that. And I was standing in the kitchen, and I was watching my kids play. and I didn't want them to see me cry. So I walked into the little bedroom, and there's no, bed rails, there's no box springs, just a mattress on the floor, and that fills up the whole room. I sit down, and I put my head in my hands, and I just fall. I'm like, I've made $150. I've not played with my kids, it feels like, in a week. And that's for the whole month. That's barely going to cover my electric. What am I going to do? I'm going to quit. That was my brilliant idea. I'm going to quit. And in that moment, I just couldn't justify, I'm like, I could live off government assistance and get to play with them all the time,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then in the next moment, it was, but that's it. That's all you get to do.
Yeah.
Nothing else. You'll never get a car. You'll never whatever. And quitting is not going to make this go any faster for you. That's exactly like I was almost cussing myself out in my head, going back and forth. It was like, what are you doing? And I decided to stick it out. And right after that, here's the kicker with that, is not 1 month later, it's when I found Ray and Jess. The month after that, I'd recruited 11 people. I'd made my first, $2,000 in a month. I'd sold all kinds of stuff because I was coachable. And then, not 2 weeks after that, so maybe 2 months after I wanted to quit, Ray asked me to speak on stage for the first time on a panel.
Yeah.
It was like, if I'd quit, woo, just on the other side of that place of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can, this is not it. $150 and I'm killing myself. And then within 30 days, I was making $2,000 a month with a car, able to give my kids the best Christmas they ever had with no help for the first time ever. That's the stuff, man. That's the stuff. And it's so surreal that I would have never known what this life looked like.
Right.
I could have quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's on the other side of everybody, though. That's, in my opinion, those big moments like that, they'll either make you or break you.
Yeah.
And you can choose to quit and stay comfortably uncomfortable, because that's what people get.
Yeah.
They get comfortable being uncomfortable because they know what to expect, at least. Even the wife who's getting beat secretly by her husband, she knows what to expect. It's comfortably uncomfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
But the uncomfort, the stuff that sucks, the stuff that's hard, the mundane, solo entrepreneur kind of stuff, that's what'll get you to that other side. That day that you don't know if you'll make it another day. Mm-hmm. You don't think you can do this one more minute. If one more person tells me they don't like this, or if one more person don't follow directions, if one more person, and I mean customers, don't follow directions, I'm good. I'm done. I'm just, I've had it. On the other side of that, that's where your greatness is. It's always on the other side that these big, even if they're not big to anybody else but you at the time, those big moments are always on the other side of that really hard stock issue moment or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's always been worth it. Like yesterday, it was so weird. I had 3 people say really mean things to me, and it's been a really long time since somebody said something really, really mean. And I'm like, geez. I told my husband about it, and I said, there must be something really big and really good coming. He said, like what? I said, I don't know, but I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Whatever it is, let it come. I'm happy. Let's take the punches and go. I'm ready to see what's over there. Because that's, you got to see it that way, or life will just, if you let it, the hard stuff will consume you.
That's right. That's right.
You just got to look further out, long term.
Yeah. Now we, a couple of things. Here is this is scroll back. This is Tehila Harris said, thank you for your story and inspiration, Michelle. You're an angel of hope. So powerful.
Oh,
Yeah, we got tons of hearts, and there's Rebecca that said thank you. We're talking to. There's Lisa Diaz, which is yeah, that's Lisa, but she's not showing up here. Lisa Diaz, and she's got the hearts on there. Lisa's now in our coaching program, in the Rank Maker
ooh,
program. Amanda is now a lifer. Amanda is somebody that I bought a packet of tickets for. She's giving away tickets, and gave her a ticket to the event, the Rank Makers Live 2020, and now she's a lifer. So good stuff there.
oh,
And so one of the things that I wanted to say is we have, and you look back at your 3-year journey, okay, and a lot of people, as you said, they think, oh well, yeah, you got lucky, or oh well, or you go from here to there. But the mundane stuff, we have an activity tracker, like the tracker, and each week we talk about setting goals, putting them in writing on the tracker, and then keeping up with it, letting you
yeah.
know. How instrumental has just the goal setting and tracking your progress been to you?
I think that's the most important thing. I mean, you can't hit something you're not seeing. You know what I mean? Like shooting a gun, but there's no target.
Right.
You know, like you can, if you track, here's the beauty of tracking and setting goals. So say for 6 months, I reach out to 20 people a day. Okay.
Right.
And on average, I bring in anywhere from 8 to 10 customers a week from doing that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I would never know that if I wasn't doing so I set a goal. My goal, this is real, this is true. My goal was 20 people reach out and invite 20 people to take a look at either the products, the opportunity, both, half and half, whatever. Every day, 20, no matter what.
Right.
I did that for over 2.5 years. Even after I didn't have to anymore.
Right.
But so 20 reach outs a day, that was the goal. Over time, because at first I couldn't say, oh, I want 5 customers this week, because I didn't know if I was going to get them. I can't say if somebody's going to say yes or no to me, or if they're going to reach out to me or whatever. But because of the goals and because I stuck to what I said I was going to do, I did not lie to myself. A lot of people are, they wouldn't lie to nobody else, but they talk to themselves like trash, and they lie to themselves and break promises to themselves. Like, you wouldn't let somebody else do that to you. You wouldn't do it to somebody else. So treat yourself with the same respect. So I made a promise to myself, this is going to happen. And I was a stay-at-home mom, so 20 a day was doable for me.
Sure.
Do not say, Michelle said, don't do that, okay? If you are now like I am, I work 60 hours a week. I have kids. I do my business. Don't start at 20 a day. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
But if you have the goal and you commit, I'm going to do it. You don't lie to yourself and you do it over a couple, 3 months time, you'll know. Then you'll be able to say an educated guess of how many people you need to reach out to get what result.
Right.
So if you have a rank that requires you to do, I don't know, I'm just making this up, but say you need 20 customers to hit your next rank.
Yep.
Then you know exactly, because you've been tracking it, you've been making goals, you know exactly, because you can. Like, that's how you do it. Mm-hmm. How many you need to reach out to, how much you need to up your game to get to where you want to be, because you know the average of that. That's the key for me. Any business tracks everything.
Yep.
Everything gets tracked, and that I wanted to know. So in our company, if you sell a certain amount, you make a certain amount, and that was my goal all the time. I want to hit that. But at first it was like throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping that sticks, really, just hoping somebody says yes. But after I started setting goals, committing to them, tracking everything, did I do this, right? How many said yes? How many said no? Whatever. I was able to, then I know if I just do this, I could say I know I need 100 reach outs.
Right.
And I could spread them out between 2 weeks, or I could do them in 1 week and get the goal I wanted to get if I knew that's all I needed. Like, it makes life so much easier, and you're more likely to do it if you write it down. Like, yes, we have our phones and we have, tracking on websites, and that's great. That's better than not ever doing it. But I always stick it or write it somewhere. I have a whiteboard to my left here, and it's probably looking like my right for you, but for my left here, I've got a whiteboard, and regardless, I've got it everywhere. But I always write it on something so that I can see it all the time. Or if you put it on your phone, screenshot it, make it your home screen so that you can see it all the time. You need to be able to see it, remind yourself, because you'll put yourself on the back burner. It's just what humans do. We're used to trying to do something else or do the laundry when we know laundry's not helping us here. Okay. It's just not.
That's right.
So that's what I think. That's why it's helped for me.
Well, you said something earlier. You said, we lie to ourselves, and you can lie to yourself. You can lie to your upline. You can lie to your family. You can lie to your spouse. You can lie to your kids, but the numbers never lie.
Exactly.
And
you get to know that.
Yeah.
You get to know that. And here's what I think, I can't remember who said this originally, but Ray's the person I've heard it from. He'd heard somebody else say it. And it was, what are you going to tell your kids?
Yeah.
That mommy or daddy was too scared to message somebody on Facebook? They were too worried about what maybe they thought of them? Man, when he said that to me, said that on that video on that Ray Daly, I like to fell out of my chair.
Yeah. I
took that and put it on my wall because it hit me so hard. It's like that constant reminder, well, okay, damn. Well, I tried, but I was too worried about what people look like to change your life, honey. Sorry. Oh, God. Phew. That was tough. That's been something stick with me for sure.
Well, that person that doesn't like you or says something about you is not going to pay $40 for your kid to go to Boy Scouts.
Exactly. And they don't, if it's not going to bother you in 5 years, you shouldn't even worry about it for 5 minutes. Just do it. Do it.
Yeah, just do it. Michelle, it's been an honor. And I so appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know you're busy, you're running a big team, and you got a lot going on to come on and share with our group, and to share your story, to share your heart, and to share your passion for what you're doing, because it clearly comes through. And we've got lots of comments on here, which I'm sure you'll see before, but here's one I like. Thank you for being so real, sharing your story, your drive, and intention is so inspirational. When I heard you, I'm like, you're gonna change some lives tonight, and that's the key. Is if we can change one life or 2 lives tonight, that's what it's all about.
That is it.
Mm-hmm.
One person, if just one, was supposed to hear this, and that shifts something for them.
Yeah,
that makes it worth it for me.
Exactly.
You can't hire me to coach you one-on-one. You can't. I won't do it. But something like this, I will do, because it's different. It's for that 1, 2, 5, 10, however many, but at least one. Because they don't, a lot of people talk about the millionaires and the this or that, and they can't see that far. They can't see that. So I'm not, until recently, come out talking, I've not even said that I was a 6-figure earner until like a week ago, because I don't want people to put me in a place that's above them by any means, because I'm not.
Right.
I want them to know that I'm still just like them.
Right.
And if I can do it, they can do it. And so I'm honored to have been on here with you. I know that you have a great group, and I know that you doing these calls, these people don't, I'm just saying, I've said it, but they don't realize you may, and I hope you do. I hope that you thank Alan. I hope that you give him love, because a lot of teams don't have this. They do not have it. This kind of commitment from a leader is not such a wide spread thing. It should be, and it's not required. If your upline, isn't there, clearly you can still do it, because I did. But to have somebody like him in your corner, you're in the right place. And I just want to reiterate that. So thank you for having me. I hope that you guys go crush it. This is, we're ending 2020 finally. Okay. Finally, we're ending 2020.
Woohoo!
But what you're doing right now is going to start your 2021. And holidays coming up, all these cool things are happening. People want to spend their money. I hope you show up.
Yep.
And show them, be you. Show them you. Don't try to be Susie who's got 100,000 followers on Instagram. Be you, so that they can spend that money with you and you can impact them. It's a win-win situation. Thank you again for having me.
Amen. Thank you so much for coming, Michelle. We appreciate you.